it isn't just what I would call a madman theory. I think that overstates it. I remember Johnson telling me in 1959, or 69 I should say, that Johnson told me when he came to the White House that he felt that one of his mistakes was to give the Soviet an impression that we wanted peace and we would pay almost any price to get it. He said one of the advantages that Ike had, he always called him Ike, I never did, but he said one of the advantages that Ike had was that the Russians were afraid of Ike, afraid of him because he had been the great commander in World War II and because of his military background and just because of the kind of man he was, even though Eisenhower was a very amiable, pleasant, grandfatherly type. But they knew that beneath that exterior was a very cold, tough fellow.
Do you think they were afraid of you?
Oh, yes. Well, they were afraid of me, though, not because of my appearances and not because of my speeches, but because of what I had done. There is nothing that added more to my credibility, certainly with the Russians, and with others as well, than that I took great risks in order to bring the war to Vietnam to a conclusion, to assure the withdrawal of our forces, the incursion into Cambodia. The purpose of that was to shorten the war, to make sure that our withdrawal program could go forward on schedule, and to save American lives, and it worked. The fact that would be 3 weeks before the summit meeting in Moscow, which we wanted, which they wanted as well, that we bombed and mined Haiphong after there was a great North Vietnamese offensive supported by Soviet tanks and guns, which we could not tolerate. I remember people said, well, you can still go to Moscow even though Saigon is lost. I said, no way. I said, I can't be sitting across the table from Brezhnev when Soviet tanks are rumbling through the streets of Saigon. And that's why we did what we did. And despite all the predictions by some of our Soviet experts to the effect that they would have no choice but to cancel the summit, it made them really, I think, more eager to have it. And the other thing, which I think may have had some impact on their thinking, was that even after the elections of 1972, the December bombing, which was the critical action that was taken in order to break the deadlock in Paris and have the peace negotiation, that was a very difficult decision, but it was necessary. Now, all of these actions, you don't take them in order to prove that you're a madman or that you're a tough guy or a macho and the rest. It's simply you take them when it is in the interest of your foreign policy, and also to make sure that you are a credible leader when you meet with others or when they take actions that you want to oppose.